thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. In the office today.
Thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate it. I'm so sorry for pestering you. You
No,
are
don't worry.
so kind.
I'm just so sorry it took me so long to get back to you.
No, all good. I was just like, I wonder if she's out of the office or I don't know, maybe has the flu or something. I just didn't want to pester you. Sorry.
No, just entirely my fault. Just got lost in my email thread.
Don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. In regards to all things campaign-wise,
Yes.
you probably saw in our weekly update we suggested a call on Friday. I know no one's decided on a time that works for you guys yet.
Yeah.
I just would love to get something in the diary so we can align. We've got some ideas and obviously we're on a bit of a timeline. So if you've got a time that works, that would be unreal. Doesn't have to be, it can be next week.
So I don't work Friday and I would quite like to be on that catch up. You're back to back tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes.
Is it something we can do with Sophia? Is she also back to back?
Yeah, honestly, I'm sure we could do it with Sophia. What time works for you? I can see what I can move around.
Well, alternatively, let me chat to Steph and see if she'll do it on Friday, and I'll just catch up with her on Monday. That might be the better option.
I can move stuff around tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow morning, we're fully booked, but like in the afternoon, I'm sure I can move stuff around. So whatever works, just let me know and we'll be flexible. And in a worst case scenario, if you can only do the morning, for example,
No, we can definitely do the afternoon. Let me go and chat. Steph's in the office, so let me go and chat to her and I'll drop you a line. Is that all right?
Amazing. Thank you so much. Brill, in terms of this specific 10 minutes of your day,
yeah,
you again. Basically, high level context, we're redoing our website. As you can tell, I don't usually sit here with a full face of a foundation on. Sadly not.
You're looking very glam.
Thank you very much. Just for the next 3 days of my life, because we're redoing our website and we're going to do case studies. And they're going to be there immortalized forevermore. So yes, hence why 3 days of
course.
Basically, what I would love to do is just talk through the kind of like transformation / journey and outcome that we've had. I know obviously we didn't start off working with you specifically, and we started off working with Scott. So I've got some example questions and like what I think might be a like typical answer based on like if you were speaking on behalf of like the whole journey, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
If I just give you there's literally 4 questions.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to have a quick chat about them and then we like ask the questions? Does that work?
Yeah, works fine.
Amazing. So first question is, how would you sum up the transformation since working with LFG? What's changed? So from my perspective, I would assume it's something like went from no outbound system, aka like pre-Scott, to a point of consistent meetings and webinar leads in a few months.
Yeah.
Something high level like that, if that's what you think reflects it, which I think the lead list does, would be amazing. Something like, what's the main goal when you first started? So I assume it will be something like building pipeline, filling webinars, proving ICP. Then the before, so like the problem or challenge. So for example, like before we worked together, what did outbound look like for you? What was the biggest gap or frustration you were trying to solve? So for example, I'm extrapolating based on like what Scott told me, but like didn't have a clear system or way to test what messaging worked, you were guessing, and then like using other kind of more expensive channels, and this was a good channel to use. Feel free to expand upon that if you have like more ideas on that. And then solution and process. So what did we actually build together? So for example, the whole outbound system from scratch. So data, messaging, testing, reporting. And then what stood out about our approach. So for example, maybe it wasn't about spamming, more about smart systems or insight, or like whatever you think kind of stands out for you. And then the results. So if I said to you, like, can you share some of the types of companies we got you in front of? I've got the lead list in front of me. I can just send you a link to it now. But I've shortcutted some examples so you can see who we book meetings with. So for example, got meetings with the likes of Wix, Crocs, lots of housing associations, and anyone else that you think is relevant / interesting based on that list, for worders or like anyone else.
Sounds
And
good.
yeah, basically, how did it feel to see those results after starting from zero? For example, you have proof that outbound works. And takeaway, if you were to talk to, another head of sales at a SaaS startup, what would you tell them about working with us? Up to you what you would say, but something hopefully positive about maybe strategy, partnership, communication, whatever you think is best, and that's it.
I'm just going to move into a quiet room while I can.
Yeah, go for it.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Okay.
It's being recorded.
Will you send me, are you reading notes of something?
Yeah.
Can you just ping me those notes so that I stick to?
Yeah. You don't need to stick to them at all. I'm not telling you to say anything specific, but
no, but I think like let's make this useful. I know how important these case studies can be, so I just want it to be good.
Thank you so much. What should I send it to you on? On here? Google.
Just email or Google Chat, whatever you want.
I'll send it to you on Google Chat. Sorry, it's very like ChatGPT script. It has not been formatted for public consumption.
It's absolutely fine. As you know, I've sent you a brief that way before.
There you go.
Car.
It's just some prompt questions, like what I'm assuming you might say. But again, please do not feel obliged to say what is on the script.
Yeah.
Obviously, speak your mind.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, amazing. Should we pretend like we came into this meeting?
Yeah.
Amazing. Hi, Helen. Thank you so much for your time today. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for giving us a couple minutes of your day to discuss what it's like working with Let's Fearlessly Grow. I would love to kick off with the question, how would you sum up the transformation since working with Let's Fearlessly Grow on behalf of Word Nerds, and what's changed?
Well, I suppose quite a lot's changed in the sense that we didn't have an outbound program before working with you, so I guess that's given us a ton of volume in terms of ways in which we can now go out, build our pipeline, build our CRM, test messaging. It really is night and day from where we started before in terms of our sort of capability in this area.
Amazing. And what was the main goal you first started with when you first started thinking about outbound? Like, what did you want to achieve?
I think the main thing was ultimately to get more discovery meetings booked in. That's always been our ultimate goal, and to help build our pipeline in a more consistent way. Just to get more consistent leads and really just leverage AI. We were trying outbound before, but it was a very manual process, and we were reading more and more about sort of best practice outreach, and we certainly weren't doing it. So I think we were looking to try and build on our own sales platform to try and to get more leads in, but do it in a more automated AI first way.
Yeah, and so you mentioned you weren't doing it before. Kind of, what was the biggest gap or frustration you were trying to solve with outbound?
Like, honestly, I think we had sort of pretty stagnant open rates. We knew that where we were doing sort of ad hoc bits and pieces on LinkedIn and through email, it wasn't really effective. Like sometimes we would write the worst email in the world and it would get replied to, and then you could write the best email in the world and you'd be ignored. And so just the sort of quality of stuff that was going out was a bit hit and miss. And we knew there was a better way. We just didn't have the expertise or really the time to get our heads into it, set it up in the way that we obviously do with you, and certainly, you know, things like deliverability was just actually really poor. We hadn't even really considered any of that before we started working with you.
Amazing. And could you go into a bit more detail about what we actually built together in terms of your outbound system and what that looks like for WordNets?
Yeah, so I mean, it was a bit of a it was an iterative process, wasn't it, really, in terms of where we got to. But ultimately, what we're doing is you guys are sort of based on our ICP and sort of go-to-market strategy at any given point. We have obviously lists that you are gathering for us. We are drafting the copy and then you're applying all of the sort of AI techniques that make sure that when we're drafting emails and things to go out and LinkedIn messages, that they, you know, they get delivered and they're being opened, and all of that's being sort of tweaked on your side. But yeah, once we've got that message out there, we're then sort of driving people to, we're not necessarily asking them to go straight to, can you come and have a call with us? We're finding that the more effective way of working with you has been to send them to some of our high quality content assets. So driving people to webinars and to guide downloads, as we've seen more success that way. And then once they're in our CRM, we're then doing our own continued marketing to them. And at that point, we're seeing conversions to disco meetings. So it's a long journey, but yeah, I think I'm really comfortable with where we are as a strategy now.
I'm glad to hear it. And what stood out about our approach versus, for example, other cold email agencies?
Well, I think, you know, we have quite a good relationship generally, and I think a lot of this is, you know, you've got to work with the agency. So we spend a lot of time in updates and on meetings and, you know, chatting about this stuff. So really we wanted an agency that really got us and sort of got our approach. I don't know whether other agencies would have been as flexible to let us, you know, test lots of ways of making this work, but enterprise sales really it's hard work in this market and it's getting harder. And so I think, you know, from an agency partnership perspective, we've really valued the sort of your approach to allowing us to experiment with this, and we've experimented with messaging, with call to actions, with all sorts of things. And then I suppose off the back of all of that is the bit that we really needed you to do, which was be an expert at this and really give us the guidance on what works and what doesn't. And, you know, throughout that whole process, I think you and Sophia and the rest of the team have been really good at being able to tell us what best practice looks like. Obviously, you set the domains for us. You've put the sort of syntax and extra coding into the emails to make sure that all of this stuff works in a way that is as effective as possible. And then obviously the reporting off the back of that's been, and the communication's just been brilliant. And you work way faster than we do in a lot of cases as well, which has been brilliant for sort of getting campaigns off the ground really quickly.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Could you possibly share some of the types of companies that we've been able to get you in front of and book meetings for on behalf of WordNets?
Yeah, so I mean, we've run different campaigns throughout the year. We have obviously gone after very specific segments. So we've got in front of some of the biggest housing associations when we've gone through that market, and similarly, you know, retailers like Wix and Card Factory, Crocs in the US. So we've had a real mix of meetings, but yeah, they've been great for us and useful to kind of get in front of that wide range of clients as our strategy has changed and evolved.
Amazing. And how did it feel to see those results after starting from zero outbound system?
Relief. No, it's obviously, it's really important that, like, at the end of this works. So so yeah, it's really helpful to see discovery meetings coming in. Our you know, our sales cycle is really long, so it has taken a long time to start seeing some of the results coming through and affecting the bottom line, which is ultimately where this is ultimately measured by, right? So yeah, we've been building the pipeline for a while now, and it's been a really helpful channel to make sure that we've got this on top of the extra go-to-market activity that we do ourselves.
Fantastic. And if you were talking to another head of sales at a SaaS startup similar to WordNerds, what would you tell them about working with us specifically?
I mean, hopefully they're not a competitor, but yeah, no, no, I'm kidding. No, we obviously this has been a really great partnership for us. I think you guys have brought something to our team and a set of skills that we just don't have in-house, nor do we want to really bring in-house. This is definitely something that works from a sort of external agency partnership perspective. I think it works really well for us, and I'd really encourage anyone who is kind of looking at this space to give you a call, because honestly it's been a really useful strand to our go-to-market strategy.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in our next update call.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank
you so much. That was honestly unbelievable. You are an angel. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Good. Well, if you need me to re-record anything, obviously let me know. But
that was perfect. The only other two things off the back of this, I'll obviously send you this if you want to watch it before we put it on our website. We're going to put it in a mashup of testimonials somewhere. We haven't quite decided how we're going to do it. We're also going to do it as like a written one, so I'll send you over a mini card, if you see what I mean. If you could just, if that's all right.
Yeah, fine.
It will probably have some sort of numbers in it. I'll tell you how I've worked them out in it, if that's all right.
Yeah, fine.
This is another two massive asks, but if you happen to have time to give us a quick Trustpilot review and a Clutch review, we're trying to massively increase those.
Okay.
Ready to say that would be unreal. It would take like 2 minutes. I can send you a link to it, but sure. This was honestly so helpful. So thank you so much.
No problem. No problem at all. Send me the links to what was the second one? Clutch
and Trustpilot. I'll send them to you. Thank you.
Send me the links and I'll get those filled out at some point. Keep nudging me if I haven't done it as well.
I really appreciate it. I can always turn this conversation into a comment, so you can copy and paste it if that's easier.
Sure, send me that as well.
Amazing. Thank you. Is there anything I can help you with in the meantime, or do you want to discuss tomorrow on our call?
Happy to discuss it on the call tomorrow. I think just to give you a heads up, I think we would we are thinking about pushing the second webinar to give you as much time as possible to get through the list of people. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how many, how far through the list we got this time, but it'd be really good to know, not to catch you out or anything like that, just to kind of get a sense of how long does it take to get through a list with 3 or 4 emails and that kind of thing, just so that we can see what's going on there. And it might just have a knock-on effect for that third webinar. But I just want to make sure that we give you guys as much, because obviously if we don't get sign-ups, then we can't continue working together, and I don't want that to be the case. I just want to give us enough time to get this stuff off the ground, rather than running through this too quickly and then we're not actually hitting the 10,000 people. I'm also hoping that this next webinar potentially, I don't know necessarily whether this webinar just hasn't worked for a number of reasons. I'm wondering whether if we actually pulled out some of the hotel chains that were in the report and told them that they were in the report, that might be a nice secondary outreach piece. But irrespective of that, I think we've got a plan we're getting a plan together for webinar 2. It's just now about when do we want to do it. So I think we'd love to discuss that with you tomorrow, just to get a sense of if you were running this from scratch, how long would you want, given you know a bit more about the size of the list and what we're kind of going for, and just anything else from your side in terms of what's worked or what hasn't. Is there are there any engagement indicators on which email was better, that kind of thing?
Yep. I've also got some suggestions just on like, I know you wrote the copy initially, but on like how I tweak the copy based on making it more what we would say high conversion, just from an email marketing perspective. And just like working on making the sentences make more sense to people that are seeing it in a really quick.
Yeah. Okay, really good feedback. We'll definitely take all of that on board. So feel free to give us all of that feedback tomorrow. And I've got my LinkedIn connected now. So again, like whatever that looks like as well in terms of the second webinar, if we want to kind of start pushing that.
Perfect.
Is that all right?
Exactly. Spot on. Exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. And I'm glad that we can do it tomorrow.
Perfect. I'll chat with Steph now and get a time, and then I'll drop you a line.
Thank you so much, Helen. I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you. You've got brownie points from
Well, it'd be weird if we were like, no, we're not going to give you feedback after after it's literally what we do. No. That's absolutely fine. And yeah, fingers crossed we can get this webinar ask right as well.
Completely agree. Perfect. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.